first of all, I'd like two top-line results from you, or two top-line takeaways from you. Number one, why did this happen today? Why do you think your Republican colleagues wanted to do this? And how do you think Jack Smith did?
That question Rachel just asked cuts right to the heart of what may be the biggest political miscalculation Republicans have made all year. Why today? Why, after months of blocking Jack Smith from testifying publicly, did they suddenly drag him before Congress? And how did he do? Let me tell you exactly what happened, because by the end of this video, you will understand why Jim Jordan is panicking tonight and why Donald Trump should be absolutely terrified. Why today? 3 reasons, and each one reveals just how desperate they have become. Reason 1. The Epstein files. This hearing happened the exact same week that pressure on the Epstein documents reached a boiling point. The Trump administration has been stonewalling those files for months. Questions were mounting, reporters were digging, the walls were closing in. And suddenly, out of nowhere, wall-to-wall coverage of Jack Smith fills every channel. Suddenly, everyone is talking about January 6th instead of asking what powerful people are hiding about Jeffrey Epstein. You think that is a coincidence? Let me be clear. In Washington, there are no coincidences. When the powerful want to change the subject, they manufacture a bigger story. Reason 2. The 11th Circuit is about to destroy Judge Aileen Cannon. Legal experts across the political spectrum have been saying for weeks that her gag order on Volume 2 of Jack Smith's report is legally indefensible. One congressman called it paranormal. Not unusual. Paranormal. Like it defies the laws of nature. That ruling is coming any day now. And when it drops, Jack Smith can tell the American people everything about the classified documents case, the bathroom boxes, the Mar-a-Lago storage, the obstruction, everything. Republicans wanted to get ahead of that. They wanted to control the narrative before the most damaging evidence goes public. Reason 3. Pure arrogance. They genuinely believed they could rough up Jack Smith with gotcha questions, clip some sound bites for Fox News, and declare victory. They thought Jim Jordan's theatrics would dominate the story. They thought they were smarter than everyone else. They were wrong, dead wrong. Now, how did Jack Smith do? Rachel, let me tell you something. I have watched a lot of congressional testimony in my career. I have seen witnesses crumble under pressure. I have seen witnesses get trapped by their own words. I have seen witnesses lose their composure and hand their enemies exactly what they wanted. Jack Smith did none of that. He sat there for hours while Republicans threw everything they had at him. They attacked the timeline of his investigation. They questioned the credibility of witnesses like Cassidy Hutchinson. They called the whole thing a partisan witch hunt designed to interfere with elections. They tried to paint him as a rogue prosecutor on a personal vendetta. And Smith just sat there, calm, methodical, unshakable, like a man who knows exactly what cards he is holding. Why? Because he knows his evidence is bulletproof. He knows the documents exist. He knows the recordings exist. He knows the surveillance footage exists. He knows the signed certifications that turned out to be lies exist. When you have the facts on your side, you do not need to perform. You do not need to get emotional. You do not need to fight back against every accusation. You just need to present the truth and let it speak for itself. The Republicans wanted fireworks. They wanted Smith to lose his temper. They wanted a clip of him looking defensive or rattled that they could play on Fox News for the next 6 months. They did not get it. Instead, they got a prosecutor who answered every question directly, stuck to the facts relentlessly, and refused to be baited into anything that could be used against him. That is how you know someone has the goods. That is how you know the evidence is real. Guilty people panic. Innocent people with weak cases get defensive. Prosecutors with bulletproof evidence stay calm because they know time is on their side. But here is what Republicans did not count on. Here is the moment that changed everything about today's hearing and turned a Republican victory lap into a strategic disaster. Jim Jordan was ready to gavel the hearing closed. Mission accomplished. Case closed. Move on. Republicans were probably already high-fiving in the back rooms. Fox News was preparing their victory segments. And then Jamie Raskin stood up and dropped a bomb that left Jordan absolutely stunned. Raskin invoked something called the minority rule. It is buried deep in House Judiciary Committee procedures. Most Americans have never heard of it. Most members of Congress probably forget it exists. But Raskin has been in Congress long enough to know where every procedural lever is hidden. And he pulled this one at the perfect moment, when Republicans thought they had won and let their guard down completely. The rule works like this. If the majority calls only one witness and refuses to let the minority call their own witness, the minority has the right to demand a separate hearing with a witness of their choosing. And here is the key part. The majority cannot block it. They cannot delay it indefinitely. They cannot use procedural tricks to make it disappear. The rules are the rules, and even Jim Jordan has to follow them. So Raskin announced, right there on live television, that Democrats are invoking this rule to bring Jack Smith back. Round 2. A whole new hearing. But this time, Democrats ask the questions. This time, there is no Republican grandstanding designed to generate clips for conservative media. This time, they are going specifically after Volume 2. The classified documents, the bathroom boxes, the ballroom storage, the obstruction, the lies. Everything Judge Cannon has been desperately trying to hide from the American people. Jim Jordan's face in that moment? I wish every American could have seen it. He stammered. He tried to say they would have to wait and see what happens. He looked around like he was hoping someone would rescue him, but every single Democrat on that committee had already signed the letter. It was done, sealed, delivered. Jordan has no choice now. Jack Smith is coming back whether Republicans like it or not. This is what preparation looks like. This is what happens when someone who knows the rules better than the people trying to break them decides to use those rules as a weapon. Republicans walked into their own hearing thinking they were in control and walked out having guaranteed the exact outcome they were trying to prevent. Now let me tell you what this means for you personally, because this is not just political theater. This affects your life directly. This affects your family's safety. This affects whether the country your children inherit will be one where laws mean anything at all. Volume 2 is about classified documents that belong to you, the American taxpayer. Documents marked top secret, documents about nuclear capabilities, documents about military operations, documents about intelligence sources whose lives depend on secrecy. These are not old memos or historical records. These are active national security materials that foreign adversaries would pay billions to access. And where were they? In boxes, in a bathroom, at a beach resort, where anyone with a membership could wander around, where Russian businessmen were photographed taking selfies, where Chinese business delegations held meetings, where hundreds of strangers attended weddings and galas feet away from America's most sensitive secrets. Let me be specific about what we are talking about here. We are talking about documents that reveal how America spies on its enemies. If those documents fell into the wrong hands, intelligence sources could be killed. Networks that took decades to build could be destroyed overnight. Your family's safety depends on those secrets staying secret. We are talking about documents about nuclear weapons, not historical documents, current operational details, the kind of information that hostile nations spend billions trying to obtain through espionage, and Trump kept them next to the toilet. We are talking about military operational plans, troop movements, defense strategies, the kind of information that could cost American lives if an adversary obtained it. Stored in a ballroom where the catering staff set up tables for wedding receptions. Your national security was compromised. Your safety was put at risk. The safety of American soldiers was endangered. The safety of intelligence officers working undercover around the world was threatened. All because one man decided the rules did not apply to him. And it gets worse. When the National Archives asked for the documents back, Trump's team lied about having them. They said everything had been returned. It had not. When the FBI showed up with a subpoena, Trump's lawyers signed a certification under oath stating that all classified materials had been handed over. That was a lie. Surveillance footage shows boxes being moved after that certification was signed. Evidence was hidden. Justice was obstructed. All of it documented. all of it on camera. Your tax dollars paid for the investigation that uncovered these crimes. Your government employed the agents who gathered the evidence. You have a right to know what was found. And Republicans just tried to bury it all in a single hearing they thought they could control. They failed. Now let me tell you what happens next, because the next few weeks are going to be explosive, and you need to understand exactly what is at stake. First, the 11th Circuit ruling. When that gag order falls, and legal experts say it will fall because Judge Cannon's reasoning has been called paranormal and legally indefensible, Volume 2 becomes public. Every detail Jack Smith uncovered about those classified documents will be available for the American people to see. The bathroom boxes, the ballroom storage, the obstruction, the lies, the cover-up, all of it. This is what Republicans are terrified of. This is why they tried to get ahead of it with today's hearing. They wanted to frame the narrative before you saw the evidence. They wanted to tell you what to think before you could think for yourself. Second, the second hearing, Jack Smith returns. Democrats ask the questions this time. No more Republican grandstanding designed to generate Fox News clips. No more Jim Jordan theater. Just direct questions about classified documents, obstruction of justice, and why Trump's lawyers lied under oath about returning materials they had not returned. Jamie Raskin is going to ask the questions Republicans did not want asked. He is going to put evidence into the record that Republicans tried to hide, and there is nothing Jim Jordan can do to stop it because the minority rule gives Democrats that right. Third, the midterm elections. This is the big one. This is what everything comes down to. If Democrats take the House, everything changes overnight. Subpoena power shifts, investigations that have been stonewalled restart. Witnesses who have been hiding behind Republican protection will be compelled to testify under oath. Documents that have been buried in executive privilege claims will be dragged into the light. The entire apparatus of obstruction that has protected Trump collapses. If Republicans keep the House, they will do everything in their power to bury this forever. They will run out every clock. They will exhaust every procedural delay. They will protect Trump at any cost, even if that cost is the rule of law itself. They will make sure you never see what your government has been hiding. That is the choice in front of American voters. Accountability or cover-up, truth or protection. A country where laws apply to everyone, or a country where the powerful play by different rules. Think about what you teach your children. You tell them to follow the rules. You tell them actions have consequences. You tell them that lying and cheating will catch up with them eventually. And then they watch the most powerful man in the country steal classified documents, lie about it, obstruct justice, and potentially walk away without consequences. What lesson does that teach them? What kind of citizens does that create? What kind of country are we building? The systems being tested right now are the systems your children will inherit. Whether those systems still function, whether laws still mean anything, depends on what happens in the next few months. Rachel asked how Jack Smith did. Let me give you the real answer. He did exactly what prosecutors do when they know they have the goods. He stayed calm. He stuck to the facts. He let the evidence speak for itself. And he watched Republicans flail around trying to land punches that never connected. But more importantly, he put everything on the record. Every document reference, every timeline, every fact that Republicans wanted to keep hidden. It is now part of congressional testimony, preserved forever in the official record of the United States Congress. Whatever procedural games Republicans play, whatever judges they shop for, whatever delays they manufacture, that record exists. It cannot be erased. It cannot be hidden. It will be there for historians, for prosecutors, for future generations to examine. And thanks to Jamie Raskin, that record is about to get a whole lot bigger. Let me tell you something about Jamie Raskin that you need to understand. This is a man who lost his son to suicide on New Year's Eve 2020. One day later, on January 6th, he was inside the Capitol when the mob attacked. He went through unspeakable personal tragedy and then immediately had to defend democracy against an insurrection. And he did not break. He did not back down. He led the second impeachment of Donald Trump. When Raskin invokes a procedural rule that Republicans did not see coming, it is not an accident. It is not luck. It is decades of experience wielded by someone who has every reason to walk away but refuses to stop fighting. So Rachel, to answer your question directly, why today? Desperation, distraction, arrogance. Republicans thought they could control this narrative. They thought one hearing under their terms would put the Jack Smith story to bed forever. They were catastrophically wrong. How did Jack Smith do? He won. He did not just survive the hearing. He dominated it. He stayed calm while they threw everything at him. He stuck to facts while they peddled conspiracy theories. And he set up the next hearing that will be even more damaging than the first. Jim Jordan thought he could control this story. He could not. Trump thought the investigations were behind him. They are not. Republicans thought today was the end. It was just the beginning. The evidence is damning. The second hearing is coming. And the truth has a way of surfacing no matter how many powerful people try to bury it. If you are not paying attention to what happens next, you should be, because what unfolds in the coming weeks could send shockwaves through American politics unlike anything we have seen since Watergate. This is not hyperbole. This is not exaggeration. This is the reality of where we are. Jack Smith is coming back. The documents are coming out. The truth is emerging. And there is nothing they can do to stop it. Smash that like button if you want the full truth exposed. Subscribe because the next few weeks are going to be absolutely critical for the future of this country. Share this video everywhere because the mainstream media is already moving on to the next shiny object, and this story deserves to stay in the spotlight until accountability is delivered. The Republicans thought they won today. They held their hearing. They asked their questions. They generated their clips for conservative media. But watch Jim Jordan's face when Raskin invoked that rule. Watch the moment he realized he had been outmaneuvered. Watch the panic set in as he understood that every Democrat on that committee had signed the letter and there was nothing, absolutely nothing, he could do to stop what was coming. That is what accountability looks like when it catches arrogance off guard. That is what happens when people who think they are untouchable discover they are not. The fight is not over. It is just getting started. Volume 2 is coming. The second hearing is coming. The truth is coming. And when Jack Smith walks back into that hearing room, when he raises his right hand and swears to tell the truth again, when Democrats start asking the questions Republicans did not want asked, everything changes. The bathroom boxes, the ballroom documents, the obstruction, the lies under oath, all of it enters the congressional record. All of it becomes part of American history. All of it becomes evidence that can never be erased, never be hidden, never be made to disappear. Trump thought he could run out the clock. He thought friendly judges would protect him. He thought Republican allies in Congress would bury the truth forever. He was wrong, and Jack Smith is coming back.